What's up, family? So this past year or year and a half or so has been pretty rough on my family from pretty much each side of my family. We've been having numerous deaths in the family, not just people that we might not have heard from in a while, but people that we grew up knowing that are very close to us and very dear to us. Some of these people who, gave me some real valuable advice coming into adulthood. And first of all, let me cut this shout out and thank you to everybody who's been praying for us and sending comments and emails and the phone calls, man, and just sending your condolences. Thank you so much to everybody that's been praying for my family. But yeah, I wanted to really speak on this video on dealing with deaths because um, coming from a background where I was in the armed forces and I dealt with deaths and not actually seen it with my own eyes, firsthand, but definitely knew people that didn't make it that I knew, and actually meeting the families of those that didn't, that are no longer with us, is very difficult to deal with. And I thought I had gotten used to it, but it seems like it's just becoming harder and harder for me to deal with. I don't know if maybe it's because I've been having more deaths in the family of people that are really close, kind of close to me. Um, but it's been very a trying time, especially during a time of transition with my family. And some of my family members been taking some their frustration out on each other, which is kind of expected. I mean, the emotions are all over the place. Um, so I think, I really just thank y'all for your prayers because, man, I've been able to stay somewhat calm through these trying times. Um, but yeah, so I'm just want to go over dealing with deaths in the family. I think one thing that one reason why we're so affected differently when a person dies, a human being dies, um, is that uh, we are, if you look in the word, we're considered God's most precious creation. And granted, we do feel sad when we see an animal die or nature, like a tree dies or something like that. Yeah, we feel a certain type of way about those as well. Um, but I know we feel definitely a different way when um, we, I'm sorry, excuse the text. I know we feel a different way when it's an actual human being that dies because us human beings, we are considered God's most precious creation. So the way we are created, we're going to we're meant to naturally care for each other more than anything else, than any other living creatures. And so we're going to feel a bit more emotional when human beings die, especially when we know that person. And another thing is if, you know, you hurt the most when you care for somebody more. It's like the more you care about somebody, the more you hurt. I think the most pain, and God forbid, you know, um, God forbid, I send my prayers out to any person who's had to deal with this. I think the people that you hurt the most is when you give your children pass away because you actually give birth to them, you nurture them, you made sure they were okay while they were in the womb, and then when they're born, you're making sure you're doing your best to make sure they're provided for. And so when they pass away, I think that hurt. I think that's why they could be considered hurtful, the most hurtful because they come from you. And I realize when you care about a person, the more you care about a person, the more you're indebted into that person, or the bigger effect that person has on you, it tends to hurt a lot more than somebody you might not know, even though it still will bother you. I know it might not. I know there's a big difference when you're deeply indebted into a certain person, when you really care about a certain person, or where they have a really positive impact on you. And so I really just, to all those people that are dealing with losses, that have lost loved ones, my prayers go out to you. The thing is, there's really nothing, there's really no right thing to say. Even as a Christian man, even when I know some people, they live godly lives, and I know they're going on to a better place after this. They don't have to suffer anymore. It's still hard for me to take in, because I would be lying if I just say, oh, yeah, they win if they're going, if they're going to heaven, if they gave their life to God already. But I would be lying if I didn't say that I wouldn't miss them. That I wouldn't miss just talking to them, just touching them, just hugging them, missing some of their warm embraces. And so even though I know the end game, even though if I know some of them going to a better place, it's still difficult for me to take. So to all of those who are dealing with loss of loved ones, I'm praying for you. If you know people that have lost loved ones, just pray for them. Just be there for them. Try to be as supportive as you can. Realize that they are somewhat emotionally stable, because it's very hard to take in. You might think that even when you see it coming, even when you know their end is near, it's still difficult to process when it happens, especially when they've had a major impact on your life. And so I'm just gonna, to end this video, I'm just gonna go into one scripture where it kind of helps bring somewhat some comfort. But in Psalm chapter 116 verse 15, it says, "Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his faithful servants." So the people that have been faithfully serving God, they're trying to fulfill his purpose in their lives, and allow God to use them. God is he's glad that bringing them home, because he's like, what, now you don't have to suffer no more. You've done your work. Here, now it's time for you to rest. And so I know it's still a very hard pill to swallow, because we're going to miss everybody. We're going to miss our loved ones, But hopefully that scripture kind of brings you some comfort, especially if you know that your loved one that have passed has lived a life of just godliness and just trying to make the world better. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, thank you all for your prayers. Keep praying for everybody. Keep praying for those that are dealing with losses. And my heart goes out to you all. Thank you, and God bless.